Hello again. We're this is part two of the two Babylons. Now we're working on the second Babylon. If you go, we left off at Jeremiah chapter 27. Jeremiah chapter 27, and pick it up at verse 1.
In the beginning of the reign of Jehoiakim, the son of Josiah, king of Judah, came this word unto Jeremiah from the Lord, saying, Thus saith the Lord to me, Make thee bonds and yokes, and put them upon thy neck, and send them to the king of Edom, and to the king of Moab, and to the king of Anamite, and to the
hmm
king of Tyrus, and to the king of Zidon, by the hand of the messengers which come to Jerusalem unto Zedekiah, king of
Zedekiah,
Zedekiah,
hmm king of Judah. Verse 4. And command them to say unto their masters, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel. Thus shall ye say unto your masters, I have made the earth, the man and the beast that are upon the ground by my great power and my outstretched arm, and have given it unto whom it seemed meet unto me. And now have I given all these lands into the hand of Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, my servant, and the beast of the field have I given him also to serve him. And all nations shall serve him, and his son, and his son's sons, until the very time of his land come, and the many nations and great kings shall serve themselves of him. So now the Lord gave um, dominion to King Nebuchadnezzar. King Nebuchadnezzar runs it. He ran the whole world. This is the first time that one man has ever had global domination and ran the world since Nimrod the Cushite. So now we're dealing with Nebuchadnezzar and the king of Babylon. This is the second Babylon. Okay, and we're going to go to Daniel chapter 2, because Daniel was an interpreter of dreams. He was an interpreter of dreams, and the King Nebuchadnezzar, who we just read about, he had a dream, and he want to know the dream. Daniel chapter 2, and his whole dream is a prophecy. Is a prophecy that even stems beyond Nebuchadnezzar, even to us. Go to Daniel chapter 1. I'm sorry, Daniel chapter 2. And we're going to pick it up at verse 4. Daniel chapter 2, we pick it up verse 4. I read. He said, And in the second year of the reign of Nebuchadnezzar, Nebuchadnezzar dreamed dreams, wherewith his spirit was troubled, and his sleep brake from him. Then the king commanded to call the magicians and the astrologers and the sorcerers and the Chaldeans for to show the king his dreams. So they came and stood before the king. And the king said unto them, I have dreamed a dream, and my spirit was troubled to know the dream. Then spake the Chaldeans to the king in Syriac, or the language in Aramaic, O king, live forever. Tell thy servant the dream, and we will show the interpretation. The king answered and said to the Chaldeans, The thing is gone from me. If you will not make known unto me the dream with the interpretation of, ye shall be cut in pieces, and your houses shall be made a dunghill. So now Nebuchadnezzar had a dream. He's like, look, this dream had troubled me. So, but I don't remember the dream. So he wanted the magicians and all these people, he paying them to tell him this dream. Well, he don't know the dream, but he wants them to know the dream. So it's kind of hard. But then again, he said he's going to kill all the wise men. He's going to kill all the wise men, because why am I paying you and you can't even tell me my dream? Well, this one, Daniel, Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego, they were considered as wise men in Babylon. So we're going to skip down to verse 13. We'll skip down to verse 13, and I'm going to pick it up. He said, And the decree went forth that the wise men should be slain, and they sought They sought Daniel and his fellows to be slain. Then Daniel answered with counsel and wisdom, and Arioch and the captain of the king's guard, which was gone forth to slay the wise men of Babylon. He answered and said to Arioch, the king's captain, why is the decree so hasty from the king? Then Arioch made the thing known to Daniel. So basically, Daniel's like, wait a minute, why in the world the king is so quick to kill all the wise men? Because now they finna seek, they gonna kill me, and they're gonna kill my three fellows right here. You know, why is he so quick? And then the captain of the guard told Daniel everything that happened about the dream Nebuchadnezzar had, and everything, and couldn't nobody interpret the dream. So skip down to verse 17. We don't see what happened. He said, Daniel sought God on the problem. He said, then Daniel went to his house and made the thing known to Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, his companions. So this Mishael, Azariah, and Hananiah, their names were changed to Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego. You know, that's what happened when the captives when the king capture a country, and then he gonna give the servants his name. That kind of sound familiar. You know, they came over and got us from Africa, came over here and brought us to this United States, and they gave us the name Smith, Adams. You know, that's not our names, so that's not nothing new. Nebuchadnezzar gave them the name he want them to have. Okay, verse 18. He said that they would desire mercies of God of heaven concerning this decree, that Daniel and his fellows should not perish with the rest of the wise men of Babylon. Then was the secret revealed unto Daniel in a night vision. Then Daniel blessed the God of heaven. Daniel answered and said, Blessed be the name of God forever and ever, for wisdom and might are his. And he changeth the times and the seasons. He removeth kings and setteth them up. He giveth wisdom unto the wise and knowledge to them that know understanding. He revealeth the deep and secret things. He knoweth what is in the darkness, and the light dwelling with him. I thank thee and praise thee, O thou God of my fathers, who have given me wisdom and might, and have made known unto me what we desired for thee. For thou hast now made known unto us the king's matter. So now they went to God to say, look, what is going on? So the Lord revealed a dream to Daniel. Now we're going to look at this dream. This dream, we're going to pick it up at verse 31. Verse 31. Verse 31, and then I'll pick it up from here. He said, Thou, O king, sawest, and behold, a great image. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. This image head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, his belly and its thighs of brass, its legs of iron, its feet part of iron and part of clay. Thou sawest till the stone, that stone was cut without hands, which smote the image upon the feet that were of iron and of clay, and brake them in pieces. Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken into pieces together, and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floors, and the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain, and filled the whole earth. This is the dream, and we will tell the interpretation of before the king. So now so not Daniel, he told the king what he dreamed about, this big old image. Now I don't have it drawn up here, but I have the information on here. So basically these are the kingdoms right here, all the way down to the Roman Empire. But we're gonna go further and find out what was his dream. What was the interpretation? We know the dream. So what's the interpretation? So now we're gonna go to well, keep reading 31, We left off at 31. I'm sorry.
At 36.
We left off at 36.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, 37.
Right here, 39. Well, 38. We left off at 38. He said, and wheresoever the children. Okay, 37. He said, thou, O king, art a king of kings, for the God of heaven have given thee a kingdom, power, and strength, and glory. And wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field, and the fowls of the heaven, have he given into thine hand, and hath made thee ruler over them all. Thou art the head of gold. So now, this head of gold is Nebuchadnezzar. This Nebuchadnezzar is the head of gold. Okay. Then he said, and after thee shall arise another kingdom, inferior to thee, and another third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over the earth. And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces, and subdueth all things, as iron that breaketh all these, shall it break in pieces and bruise. And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes part of potter's clay, and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided. But there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, for as much as thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay. And as the toes of the feet were part iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. So basically, these kings are not going to get along. They're not going to get along, and they're going to be weakened because of that. Okay. Now, verse 44. Verse 44, he said, in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left unto another people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. For as much as thou sawest that the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and that it break in pieces in the iron, the brass, and the clay, the silver, and the gold, and the great God hath made it known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter. And the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof is sure. So now you can look down in history and find out that all these kingdoms that had global domination, because mind you, the Lord told Nebuchadnezzar that I will give you all the beasts of the field, and they are going to be under your command. You're gonna rule it. Basically, you're gonna run it. So, but then again, he say that that another kingdom inferior to you is going to come and take over the kingdom. Okay. Then another kingdom is going to come back and take over the world. Then another kingdom is going to come back, take over the world. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Go to Daniel chapter 5. Daniel chapter 5. Daniel chapter 5, and we're going to pick it up at Daniel chapter 5. And we're going to pick this up at verse 1. Daniel chapter 5 and verse 1. Okay? Go ahead, pick it up at verse 1.
Belshazzar, the king, made a great feast to 1,000 of his lords, and drank wine before the 1,000. Belshazzar whilst he tasted the wine, commanded to bring the golden and silver vessels which his father Nebuchadnezzar had taken out of the temple which was in Jerusalem, that the king and the prince, his wives and his concubines, might drink therein.
Okay, now this is Nebuchadnezzar's son. So Nebuchadnezzar's son has taken over. Okay, and you know, so now he made a big feast. Now he's drinking and everything. So we're gonna see that that earlier back in Jeremiah, he said many kings is gonna come against Babylon. But see, the thing is, Babylon was not taken over by force of other kings. Um, Belshazzar, which is Nebuchadnezzar's son, he took over. We're gonna find out what happened. He made a big feast. Okay, go ahead.
Then they brought the golden vessels that were taken out of the temple of the house of God, which was in Jerusalem. And the king and his princes and his wives and concubines drank in them.
That's what he messed up. He went and started getting the holy vessels that his dad took out of the temple when he destroyed Jerusalem. Go ahead.
They drank wine and praised the gods of gold and of silver, of brass, of iron, of wood, and of stone.
Sound like prosperity. Basically, they was praising the gods of money, material stuff. You know, God gave us this gold, God whatever. But they was praising, they was praising like I say, materialistic stuff. Go ahead.
In the same hour came forth fingers of a man's hand, and wrote over against the candlestick upon the plaster of the wall of the king's palace. And the king saw the part of the hand that wrote. Then the king's countenance was changed, and his thoughts troubled him, so that the joints of his loins were loosed, and his knees smote one against another.
So, in other words, he was scared to death. All of a sudden, they sit down, they drinking, and they partying, and they doing all this other stuff. They praising the God of gold and wood and stone. They doing all this other stuff. So, all of a sudden, in the middle of the room, a hand just come out. A hand just come out, and boom. They start writing on the wall. Just like that. That's all he saw was a hand. So now he's scared. All of a sudden, he sobered up real quick. Now his knees knocking. He really scared. Now go ahead.
The king cried aloud to bring in the astrologers, the Chaldeans, and the soothsayers. And the king spake and said to the wise men of Babylon, Whosoever shall read this writing and show me the interpretation thereof shall be clothed with scarlet and have a chain of gold about his neck, and shall be the third ruler in the kingdom.
So he called these same people that his daddy called on to try to find out, what is this hand telling me? What is this hand telling me? So now go ahead, and of course they could understand it. Go ahead.
You go straight down.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, verse 8.
Verse 8. Then came in all the king's wise men, but they could not read the writing, nor make known to the king the interpretations thereof.
Now go ahead and skip down to verse 17. And read it. 17.
Then Daniel answered and said before the king, Let thy gifts be to thyself, and give thy rewards to another. Yet I will read the writing unto the king, and make known to him the interpretations.
So now he said, you can keep your materialistic stuff. I don't want no gold chain. I don't want anything like that. Now I don't know how that transferred now, because I mean, believe me, if God told somebody something right now, as we today, even the pastors today, if they know some of the stuff up in this Bible, and somebody say they're gonna put a gold chain around his neck, what are you gonna do? He gonna be quick to take it today. But then again, the servants of God said, no, you can keep your stuff. I don't want it. But I am going to tell you what the Lord said about the dream. I'm sorry, about the interpretation of the writing on the wall. So skip down to verse 25. 25. I'll read 25. He said, and this is the writing that was written. Mene, Tikar, Upharsin. This is the interpretation of the thing. Mene, God has numbered thy kingdom and finished it. Tekel, thou art weighed in the balance and are found wanting, or you are found lacking. Perez, thy kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and the Persians. Then commanded Belshazzar, and they clothed Daniel with scarlet, and put a chain of gold about his neck, and made proclamation concerning him, that he should be third ruler in the kingdom. In that night was Belshazzar, the king of the Chaldeans, slain. And Darius the Median took the kingdom, without being about 62 years old. So about 62 years old, Cyrus the Mede came across. So now, guess what? Cyrus the Mede did not make war with Belshazzar. Belshazzar lost the kingdom because he disrespected God and he praised false gods and stuff. So now Cyrus came and took and inherited the kingdom from Belshazzar. So now Cyrus the Mede, he got the kingdom. Cyrus the Mede. Now the same thing that God gave Nebuchadnezzar, the same thing he gave Cyrus. Cyrus. Now let's see what I just want to let people know that even though Nebuchadnezzar was king of Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar was king of Babylon. But see, that's just the name of his kingdom. But if you really think about it, this whole Gentile dynasty, the whole Gentile dynasty comes up under the name of Babylon. Why? The whole system, from Nebuchadnezzar all the way down to the last king, is called Babylon. But the first kingdom is named Babylon. So, but now the Medes and the Persians. We found the Medes and the Persians, but the whole thing is called Babylon. I'm telling you what I'm talking about. Go to 2 Chronicles chapter 36. 2 Chronicles chapter 36. Because King Cyrus, now we're dealing with the Persians. 2 Chronicles chapter 36. Second Chronicles 36, and we're going to pick this up at verse 11. Pick it up at verse 11.
Zedekiah was 120 years old when he began to reign, and reigned 11 years in Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm.
And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord his God,
Mm-hmm.
and humbled not himself before Jeremiah the prophet, speaking from the mouth of the Lord. And he also rebelled against the king Nebuchadnezzar,
Mm-hmm.
who had made him swear by God, but he stiffened his neck and hardened his heart from turning unto the Lord God of Israel.
Go ahead.
Moreover, all the chief of the priests and the people transgressed very much after all the abominations of the heathen, and polluted the house of the Lord which he had hallowed in Jerusalem.
Okay, basically he's talking about what happens is the Lord brought Nebuchadnezzar against Jerusalem. Okay, now the Lord had it to where he was not going to utterly destroy Jerusalem, but he had made Nebuchadnezzar and Zedekiah a treaty, saying that, look, if you pay tributes to me, then I will not bother Jerusalem, but I will keep you as king. So we still would have had a king in Israel, but Nebuchadnezzar still would have been ruling the world. Well, Zedekiah rebelled against the treaty that the Lord had between him and Zedekiah. So he broke the treaty. So therefore, Nebuchadnezzar came and took over, and that's what it is. And then it took Zedekiah back to Babylon. So now Babylon is running Jerusalem. So, like I said, this is basically a history lesson, and is much needed. Now, as far as the Babylon, we left off at Cyrus, King Cyrus. That's what we left off at. Okay, go to Ezra. Go to the book of Ezra. I think it's the next book over. The book of Ezra, chapter 5. Ezra chapter 5. Ezra chapter 5, and pick it up at verse 12. I'm going to read verse 12.
But after that our fathers had provoked the God of heaven
Mm-hmm.
unto wrath, he gave them into the hand of Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, the Chaldeans, who destroyed his house and carried the people away into Babylon.
Hmm.
But in the first year of Cyrus, the king of Babylon,
Wait a minute. Read that again.
but in the first year of Cyrus, the king of Babylon,
Wait a minute. I thought Cyrus was the king of the Medes, right? He was the king of the Medes and the Persians. That's what the Bible says. He said he took the kingdom from Belshazzar, and he said King Cyrus, which is he was the Medes and the Persians. But right here in the book of Ezra, what he called him. Read it again.
but in the first year of Cyrus, the king of Babylon, the same king Cyrus made a decree to build this house of God.
So now, why did he say King Cyrus? King Cyrus, the king of Babylon? Because the whole system is called Babylon. The Babylon consists of Nebuchadnezzar, Cyrus, Alexander the Great, and Rome. All these people were white people that basically ran the earth, and they still running the earth right now, because it was prophesied in Nebuchadnezzar's dream that these Gentiles is going to rule the world until the Lord comes back. Okay, go to basically. Nah, I ain't finna go to chapter 13. That's part 3. I just go into part 3. That's part 3 because this same we're gonna deal with Rome. Okay, and just a rundown. The head of gold we read was Nebuchadnezzar. Then he told Nebuchadnezzar another kingdom is going to take over inferior to you. So in other words, he is not going to take the kingdom by force. He is going to inherit the kingdom from you. So that's why you say a kingdom less than you. Cyrus came to the Medes and the Persians. Okay, now after the Medes and Persians took over, now you had Alexander the Great. Everybody know Alexander the Great. Alexander the Great took over the world at a young age. He did not have a successor. So therefore, 4 of his generals took over and they ran the world. Well, 4 generals can't take over. They had wars among themselves. So therefore, that left an opening for the 4th kingdom, which is Rome. Rome was ruling the earth when the Lord was walking. That's why you say everybody had to pay tribute to Caesar. Caesar was a Roman. Okay, but then again, Rome fell. And in the next lesson, we're gonna talk about the book of Revelations in Revelations 13, because it's talking about the same kingdom right here. And then we're gonna talk about the 10 toes. The 10 toes is the European common market. That's over there, and they already formed already. 10 nations are going to be running the world at this time. That's why miry clay cannot mix with iron, because they're not going to get along. Okay, so the Lord, the Bible say, in the days of these kings, which is Rome, shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom that shall be no end. So in other words, what the stone that was cut out without hands was Jesus coming back and knocking these 4 kingdoms out. Nebuchadnezzar, Babylon, that's gone. Cyrus, that's gone. Alexander the Great, that's gone. Rome, we are now living in a Roman Empire right now, because that's why you got Rome running. When in Rome, do what Romans do, basically. And you got the Pope, and you got all them. Everybody is over there, and they are bringing this prophecy to pass. And the stone that was cut out was without hands. He had to smote the image on the foot. He can't smote the image on the head. Why? Because that kingdom is already gone. He had to smote him on the foot. And that same stone had become a great mountain or a great government. And that is the Lord setting this government on this earth. You are not going to leave this earth and go into heaven. That's why this whole prophecy, even the prophecy of Daniel. And you can go into Daniel chapter 7 and read about it again. But this time is beast, the lion, the bear, the leopard, and the beast that did not have a name because it was so terrible. And they're talking about Rome. So next time we're gonna be talking about the Roman Empire, because all these are gone right now. We went through. So now we under Rome. With that, I thank you for your time.